201 days, 112 days, 131 days. That's the amount of time Pedri missed in his last 3 seasons before the 24-25. But in Hansi Flick's first season, we finally saw an injury-free Pedri, and he looked like the best midfielder in the world. This season, we're going to witness Pedri at his greatest. Yes, possibly Ballon d'Or worthy. And I've got some bold predictions to back it up. It has almost become a meme among the Barca fan base. Whenever Pedri creates a chance for a teammate, that teammate suddenly forgets how to finish. Take the game against Atletico Madrid as an example. Pedri created 3 big chances, completed 4 dribbles and hit 8 out of 8 long passes. In fact, he dictated the game like a true midfield maestro, controlling tempo, progressing play, setting up teammates in the best possible position. And yet, Barca scored just once. The goal scorer? Well, Pedri himself. Still, this isn't just a feeling. It's backed by actual numbers. Under Hansi Flick, Pedri had his best ever season in terms of assists. He finished with 5, but according to his expected assist, which measures the likelihood of every pass turning into an assist, he should have gotten more than 9. Of course, expected assist isn't flawless. However, it supports what Barca fans have seen with their own eyes. And this has been the story of Pedri's career so far, creating chances that somehow don't get converted. I believe that can't last forever. And I believe this is the season where it changes. Why? Well, let's get into it. It starts with the Frenkie and Pedri partnership. Frenkie started slow under Hansi Flick. He had just returned from injury and Marcus filled in brilliantly. However, Frenkie brings something that few others can, the ability to dictate rhythm. When Barca play their best football, it's often Frenkie and Pedri pulling the strings from the base of the midfield. I would even argue that in possession they might be the best duo in the world, capable of dismantling even the most organized defensive block. So why is Frenkie so important for Pedri? Because he gives him freedom. Pedri is Barca's rhythm. He led the team for most touches and most passes attempted last season. He's the on-pitch leader. However, he's also a creative genius. And that's why Spain often wants to play him as a pure 10 because of the chaos he can cause in the final third. However, Hansi Flick wants Pedri to have a hybrid role. He starts in a double pivot, but Barca play with a great sense of freedom so Pedri can roam forward with the ball. Now, that freedom only works with Frenkie, because Frenkie, as I said, can control tempo, dictate rhythm, and take responsibility in deeper areas. When Frenkie doesn't play, it's often Pedri who's forced to drop back. But with Frenkie on the pitch, Pedri can step into more dangerous zones. This changes everything, and it brings me over to my next point. The increased productivity from one player is definitely going to help. No player received more passes in the final third or had more touches in the final third than Lamine Yamal. And that's to no surprise, because he's the one with the most X factor, the one we look for. He's the biggest difference maker. Now, no player hit more passes into the final third, hit more passes into the penalty area, or played more through balls than Pedri. He is the one who moves the play forward. He is the one who makes the decisions. These two players are connected. As Lamine becomes more dangerous and consistent in front of goal, Pedri's numbers of assists will rise. So the question is, why will Lamine Yamal actually end up scoring more than he has done? Well, Lamine Yamal scored 9 goals in La Liga, but 30% of them came in his final 4 games. He's already the biggest talent in the world, and goal scoring is the next area he will level up. This season you can expect more attempts from outside the box, better off-the-ball movements, and more composure when given the chance. Lamine Yamal has all the underlying mechanics to become a reliable goal scorer. His ball striking is top, and he can easily generate shooting opportunities for himself, as we've seen countless of times. Combine it with attributes I mentioned above, and you can expect him to score far more goals than he has done. All of that benefits Pedri directly. He is the one feeding Lamine Yamal in those dangerous areas. If Lamine Yamal hits 15 goals in La Liga, which I think is very realistic, Pedri's assists will follow. In fact, we have seen this. When Messi started hitting 20 to 30 goals every season, Xavi's assist exploded. Xavi went from 5 assists in the 7-8 season to a record-breaking of 19 assists in the 8-9 season. Now, I'm not saying that Pedri will hit these exact numbers. After all, it's Messi and Xavi we're talking about, the greatest player of all time and arguably the greatest midfielder of all time. But I do expect Pedri to reach double digits this season. 10 assists in the league feels possible. And I'm talking as a minimum. The rise of Lamine Yamal will allow this. And let's not forget his finishing. Pedri's ability to find the corners from distance is underrated. He strikes the ball well, and if he continues arriving in the box, the chances will fall naturally. This is also a consequence of Lamine Yamal, because of his ability to attract opponents. We witnessed this last season against Real Madrid, where Lamine Yamal was surrounded by Real Madrid players before he found Pedri on the outside of the box. Pedri then launched an unstoppable shot into the far corner. That's something I want to see more of, and I think Hansi Flick is going to encourage Pedri to do the same. In his last 4 seasons, Pedri has slightly outperformed his XG, which is a clear indicator of a strong technique when hitting the ball. So while comparisons to Xavi is always delicate, Pedri's development makes me think of it. And this time, he got both the tools himself, but also the teammates. Even more than last season, Pedri will be allowed to move into the final third thanks to Frenkie playing next to him. If he continues setting teammates up in good positions, the goal contributions should follow. And I believe, as I said, Lamine Yamal will play a big role in this. He's already the best midfielder in the world, but imagine if he increases his direct output. That's when the world will truly notice. That's when Pedri becomes a real Ballon d'Or candidate, and especially if Barca continue winning big trophies. Pedri will have a big season.